Okay, I'm recording. So you're on record, everyone.
I gotta
go.
Mind your manners.
Yeah.
Use that against me in court.
Well, I was just wondering how many cameras would go off all of a sudden. Oh, well. Okay. Treasury report, Chris.
Yeah, everything looks pretty good there. We do have a lot of dues coming in through Venmo. You can do that, or you can use your credit card, call Gary or maybe Tracy and use the Square Up to get that going. We do have, I believe, the club runner that runs, the club website there has been paid. I think we're working on the GoDaddy domain site to get paid. So we're working on that. And other than that, I think things are looking pretty good. So keep up the good work and sending in those happy bucks, and it all counts in the end to help out our community. So we all appreciate that. And I think that's about it.
Thanks, Chris, for your financial stewardship.
Yeah.
So President's report, I don't have much other than welcome to our guests. And one of the things that Gary and I are going to talk about is just, kind of the same thing we're talking about in public education today. We've learned so much more about how we can engage people electronically. It may not be the best, but it is an alternative way to engage people with our Rotary Club and with community service and fundraising, quite frankly, than we were, kind of thinking of in the past. So we've got to take some of this new thinking and apply it to Rotary for the future. And so I'm glad that Gary's putting that on the agenda for our next board meeting, and I look forward to talking about that because I think there's some real important things that we can do. Arlington is having a blood drive, and I got contacted by Dave Duskin, and remember they had one in the fall, and this is their second go around for a blood drive. It's going to be at the Stillaguamish Conference Room at Holler Park on March 8th, 2021. I put the details in the chat, basically his email. In order to make an appointment, you have to go onto the Red Cross blood donation website and then show up. I think there's times in there that they give you that you could show up and donate blood. That's still a need during this time, so I'm glad that Arlington's doing that. I think it's fantastic. So if you feel like you can do something like that on March 8th, feel free to do that. Go contribute. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. I don't think Lori's on for past president's report, is she?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And is Rochelle on for president-elect report? Rochelle?
No.
No. Okay. And committee reports. Is Keith here for club services?
Yes, ask him about his breakfast.
Keith, what do we have for breakfast today?
We got lucky today. The dog woke Elisa up early, so we had breakfast sandwiches waiting for us when we woke up. Solid morning.
That's awesome.
I'm training that dog. She's learning.
Does the dog get any?
She gets some from me. Sure, you got to show your appreciation.
Why are guys always the easy touches? I don't understand that.
It sure smells good.
Thanks, Keith, and it's good to see you. Community service, Eileen.
I do not have anything at this time, but stay tuned.
All right, we're staying tuned. I don't see, Ron's here for membership. Ron?
Yeah. So I can't see on my phone screen if I can't see if any are potential members here. I know you said Kyle's a potential member, but not sure if the other three that we have out there showed up today or not. So, but if you did, welcome. And
we actually have four. We actually have four out there.
Yeah. Well, we have one here, but I can't see if the other three are here.
No, another, there's a fourth added to that. So there's 5 actually. Potential.
And I know
Well,
that one is also a teacher, Connor Davis, who has actually is trying to transfer his membership from Florida up to Lake Stevens. So I know you've been in touch with him, Gary, and so have I. And he's
Right.
also a teacher in the district. So we've been communicating about that. So that's exciting.
good stuff.
Yep.
Very good. And is Tracy on for international services?
I attended the meeting last night, so I'm standing in for Tracy.
Kristen Odegaard, ladies and gentlemen.
Just very quickly, because the meetings are very long but very interesting, they are still looking for about 280 sponsorships for students. So again, get the word out there if anybody's interested in sponsoring a student. Their school year goes from February to February. So they will be starting up pretty soon. It looks like it might be kind of a hybrid, just like Lake Stevens. And Marty and Peter are going to go to Honduras, hopefully at the end of this month. So they have to have a negative test to leave. The hard part is when they're down there, they have to have a negative test to come back to the United States. So that's what they're a little bit worried about right now. So a lot of things are happening there.
Thanks, Kristen. And why don't you continue on with Interact?
I would love to. Thank you. So last week you had a hard time hearing me, but we have adopted 113th Street for street cleanup. So that is from the high school parking lot all the way to Highway 92. We filled in the paperwork for that, and we will get a sign, and we will be responsible for cleaning it 4 times a year. So we definitely like to work with Rotary on doing that. And the other thing is that we have reached out to Ashley Point, and we are going to start a pen pal situation. So our members are going to write letters to the residents in Ashley Point. So we have a meeting with Pamela from Ashley Point on Monday at 4 o'clock if anybody would like to join us. So those are the 2 big things that happened this week. It's very cool that things are still happening.
That's exciting about Ashley Point Pen Pals. I think that's really neat. Thanks for your leadership on that, Kristen. That's fantastic.
What?
Where are we at here? Vocational.
I thought we were visiting people.
Are we visiting people? Vocational services, Lance. Is Lance here?
I'm here.
There you are. I see it.
So I'm updating the timeline for our activities in this upcoming year. So like I said a couple of weeks ago, we'll get a first meeting out there maybe in a couple of weeks with a new member or 2 on the committee. That's great. And then I don't know if you guys talked about this, but non-Rotary or non-vocational related, at the board meeting, we talked about adopting the skate park. Did you guys talk about that last week?
We did not.
So I've contacted Jill Mize after our Rotary board meeting, and we're going back and forth on the Rotary potentially adopting the skate park as well. Stay tuned.
Hey, Lance,
Yep.
can you get me that contact information from Sherwood about some of the software packages like Adobe?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Scholarships.
I will do that right now.
Okay, thank you.
And Lance,
Yeah.
no information about Yale because that time is coming up.
I've been checking every meeting and I haven't checked this meeting, but it still says to be determined. I'll check and make sure that nothing has changed.
Yeah, typically that's when in March or April.
It's the second week of February,
Oh,
so
the
it's
second.
coming up.
Yeah.
So it's about the same time as pets then, right? So, and we have, and I know Rochelle's registered for pets, but that's a virtual thing, isn't it, this year?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thanks, Lance. Public relations, Rochelle's not here. Foundation, Jim.
Yes. So we did last year. We just got through spending last year's foundation Monday, and Lori calculated out that our number for this year is going to be $12,224.89. That's the growth in the foundation, the Lauren Hole endowment, and that's pretty awesome. So we got another $12,000 to hand out to the community. So that's doing well. And the International Foundation with people's dues, that's doing well too. So everything's good. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Jim. Any other business or announcements that anyone needs to make or would like to make? Okay, then I'm going to turn it over to the Fleecer in Chief, Dr. David Johnson, our Sergeant at Arms, to find us and to make us happy.
Well, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sergeant at Arms.
All right. Thank you for the intro. But let's try that one more time. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
DJ.
All right.
You're looking good this morning.
We love
Well,
you.
there's a first for everything.
Brown nose.
Well, it looks to be a lovely day out there. And nice to be back. I'm going to have to find myself right out of the gate for oversleeping last week. For years, my dogs get me up. I've never had to set an alarm clock, but all of a sudden now I'm starting to have to do so. All right, let's see here. Ken, I think you're right. I'm going to have to find Jim Hagan. Jim, you're still there?
Yeah, what's that about? Yeah, I guess. Well, what's up?
Ken says you were late.
Yeah. Had to get my coffee made up.
There's spontaneous fines and there's standard. There's spontaneous fines and there's standard fines. That's a standard fine.
Yeah, it's like 5:52 right now.
What kind of coffee you got there?
Kona.
It's a little Starbucks, but I always put a little kind of Bailey's in it. So,
No wonder you're late.
Yeah.
All right.
If we all did that, think what our meetings would be like.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we could go to evening meetings and have them begin at cocktail hour.
That's at 8 in the morning, right?
Apparently. All right. Well, I think what I'm going to do, because, I can't really see everybody. I don't have my usual material for figuring out what I'm going to find people for, is at least for this week, let's do self-finding and that give everybody the opportunity to chime in for lots of smirks. So who wants to start?
I'll self-find because I can't get into the damn systems to get my COVID shot.
What systems? Is it an online registration thing?
Everything I can find. Everett Clinic was somewhat of a joke. They said go on the My Chart. I did that. Didn't work. I went on to the phone. Didn't work.
So the host service for my chart at at the software level has been pushing out warnings to all the hospitals that all the COVID scheduling is overwhelming their servers.
I guess, because they didn't have any information on it.
Yeah, that was discussed in a meeting yesterday at my client site, that they're overwhelming the MyChart servers.
Hey, Gary, you might check the Monroe Fairgrounds.
I did. That's not available. They're already.
All the drive-through sites are canceled for right now as of
Yeah, I
Tuesday
saw that in the paper this
because
morning.
of supply of vaccine.
Yeah.
I have to go to Mount Vernon.
We were out at Monroe today, so we're operational, but it's already booked.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to find everybody $1 then. For system overwhelming.
Well, I'll give a happy 5 for Steve coming and talking to us today. It's good to see you, Steve. And that's great. Happy 5.
Ron?
Okay, Lance, excuse me. I
Ron,
have to
did you
find
say
Lance.
that you were taking bookings at Monroe?
No, it's
we're
booked.
full.
Oh, it's full. Okay. When will it be open for bookings next?
It's a day-by-day basis depending on our supply that we receive.
You have to have a scheduled appointment to go there, or you just get in line.
You have to have a scheduled appointment.
My suggestion is everybody look around 5 o'clock at night. That's when we find out. We know if we're getting vaccine the next day, and we'll open it up.
Oh, there's little Leah.
That's good.
Hey, Lance,
Yeah, David?
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to find you.
Okay, bring it on.
Well, this is self-finding time, but you skipped ahead to Happy Bucks. So since I am the master of all things arbitrary, I fine you $1.
All right. I'm still gonna be happy.
And I will self-fine.
I make a motion that as people self-fine, they may also be happy and do Happy Bucks. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Aye.
I
I'm
will
gonna self-find myself. I had a little tiny wound as a result of a project I'm working on. I didn't take care of it, and now I have a really great big wound. Stupid me. Now it'll soak it off in salt water, but I need to be fined $5 for being stupid about that.
You didn't learn anything from your brother-in-law, eh?
Should have had Jim doctor you up.
Way to go.
Hey, I'm going to find myself a $5 also. I've got a coffee cup jinx. I mean, I drink primarily out of 2 coffee cups, and neither one of those are doing very well. So
Basically, throw them away then.
I got to go get a Husky coffee mug, so then I can jinx them.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
basketball, you don't have to worry about that.
I'm not sure they need much jinxing.
You need a duck cup.
There I go. Yeah.
Duck cup.
Oh, please.
Oh, isn't that a self-fine of $5 for Larry for bringing up the ducks?
At least.
I'll go ahead and find myself. First of all, this is Leah, everybody, to say hello.
Hi, Leah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But I'll find myself $20 for not being here for the past 6 months because of this little peanut. And I guess it's Happy Bucks too.
Awesome.
I see that, Chris.
I'll find myself because earlier in the beginning of the meeting, I did not know I was not muted, which by the way, Ken, if I'm not muted, like there's something wrong, so you can mute me. I should always be on mute. And you tried to introduce Kyle Strand, and right at that moment, I yelled at my dog. And so I like totally cut him off. So I find myself for that. And I'm gonna throw out some happy bucks. I have to for the inauguration. I'm not strictly Republican or Democrat, but if you watch the inauguration, it was a great message. Maya says hi. And Amanda Gorman's poem was striking. It was awesome. And it was just a really uplifting experience, and super pumped to have a female vice president. So.
And what about the teacher from Lake Stevens?
Are you asking me about the teacher, or do you want
Yeah,
him to
no,
talk?
she was on there. That was great. And she's
Oh.
cover of
Wait,
the
what?
front page of the Herald today.
Mackenzie Adams, she's an amazing, not only amazing teacher, but this is not something that she's comfortable with, but she's really handled it with grace and charm. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
But don't forget the Foo Fighters.
She got to introduce Dave Grohl. I don't know if that was more exciting than actually being part of the pageantry.
She says the exciting part was that he mentioned her name.
His mom was a teacher for 35 years, so a lot of respect for Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, when did your head sprout wings?
Yeah, that's a surfboard in the wall there.
Ah.
But as long as I get the thing, I'm going to fine Rochelle $10 for not being here. I'll let her know.
More happy bucks, more self fines.
Lauren has a happy 5 because Lorna is feeling much better these days. So I'm really happy for that.
DJ?
Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
All right, I'll go ahead and find myself for multitasking because I'm working right now. But then also happy bucks because next week is the last week of this contract, and it just always feels good to wrap something up and move on to the next.
Yeah.
DJ, I'd like to find myself $10 for poor meeting attendance, and then throw in 10 happy bucks, 5 for my son Colin O'Brien, who is on the president's list at Everett Community College, and as a junior in high school, is getting a 4-point and killing it. So cool. And then the other 5 is it's just nice to see Chief Dyer. I keep trying to get together with him. No, just kidding. It's good to see Chief Dyer in the house.
He keeps moving around. Is that it?
Actually, I want to throw in one more 5, and for Ron Rasmussen. He and his team are doing amazing things at the fairgrounds in Monroe. The drive-through clinic is incredible. It's so well organized, and the fire districts in Snohomish County have really rallied and come together to do this. And Ron is right there at the forefront making it happen. And it's a model of how to do it and how to do it right. And so there's going to be more to come. And as Gary talking about appointments and everybody, it's a big hassle right now, but it'll open up. Supplies are going to open up. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about the federal government's mandate to get it going. And so you're going to see more and more of this open up. But thanks, Ron, and everybody, thanks for your patience. But we're going to get shots in arms. So, good job, Ron.
I'll do a happy 5. So happy to see Bananas back. Yay! Oh, and a quick plug. Sherwood's annual event is coming up March 18th and 19th. Don't forget to register. I have to plug it in. I'm sorry. It's my job. Thank you.
I'm gonna give $20. I'm very happy today. This is my son Jeff's birthday, January 22nd.
Wow.
I'm happy it's Friday, and it's always good to be on here and seeing so many smiling faces and things of that sort. And mask up and stay 6 feet apart.
I'll do a happy 10. I got to leave, so sorry. Sorry I can't see the speaker, but I got to go to work. Talk to you later. See you next week.
Thanks, Bob. Okay, how much time do you need, Steve? Do you need the whole half hour?
Ken, I can always go the whole half hour, but I can also shorten it up. So I'm happy to shorten it up if you would like.
Oh, no, that's okay. We're about, are we done with fines? So if
Anybody else?
Okay, let's turn it over to Don Iverson to introduce Steve officially. And then Steve, I've made you co-host. So if you have something that you'd like to share on your screen, you have the ability to do that.
All right, well, sounds good. Well, very happy to introduce Steve Corsi. He is the CEO and president of Volunteers of America, Western Washington. He's been with the organization since 2019 and comes to us from prior engagements in Wyoming and Missouri. He's also an avid horseman. Sounds like he learned a lot about that while he was in Wyoming. So actually kind of interested to hear a little bit about that too. Anyhow, here's Steve.
Well, thanks, Don. By the way, I always tell people I'm just a cowboy in a tie. Much more comfortable on a horse than I am on foot. So, Ken, I am, the notice is telling me host disabled participant screen sharing. So it's saying that it's a disabled.
Oh shoot! Let me try again here. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, I've got Scott Smith as co-host. How did that happen?
Oh God, don't give it to him.
All right. Well, let's fix this. I made the wrong person's co-host. Now you're co-host.
All right, there we go.
Find me.
Okay. So, well, thanks everybody for having me. I do come to you from Missouri and Wyoming. I was a government history about 8.5 years. I was the director of social services for the state of Missouri previous to coming here. And before that was director of family services for the state of Wyoming for Governor Meade. I always tell people, be careful who your friends are. You just might end up working for the governor. That's how that works. But happy to be out of politics and happy to be at Volunteers of America with just an incredible, great mission in Puget Sound region. Like I said, I want to thank you for having me. Here's what I plan to talk about today. You can see my screen, is that correct? Everybody can see that? Okay, so you'll see, I think there are 9 circles on here. We have 6 divisions. Some of these fit together, and we're going to run through some of this pretty quick. We have one of our main divisions is called Hunger Prevention. And here are some thoughts from the Everett Herald about the need, especially over this last pandemic. I can tell you that here in Snohomish County, that we usually push out about 3.6 million pounds of food a year to the 18 food banks and 19 meal sites and food pantries across the county. That's all corners of the county. This year, from January 1st to September 10th, and I don't even have current numbers past that, but up to September 10th, we pushed out over 7 million pounds of food. So that's more than double what we would normally do. And that was in the first, 8.5 months, something like that. So in hunger prevention, we have served about 103,000 people year to date, or that would have been last year. I'm sorry about that. And that would have been food banks, pantries, and pop-ups. That's about 33,000 households. And you can see that we are the regional, it's called the RDO, the Regional Distribution Organization for the entire county. I could tell you story after story about the people that I've actually talked to as we've done drive-through food pantries. We did one out at Everett Mall right before Thanksgiving, 2 weeks in a row, and people were literally in tears as they were coming through, getting a frozen turkey and a box of non-perishable food, and many people said that they had never accessed a food bank before, or had need of getting help before. So we're just very pleased to be here. This picture on the left is our food bank in Everett. We have 2 food banks. We have one in Sultan, and we have one in Everett. This one on the left is the one in Everett. And then this picture on the right is 2 of our early childhood education assistance programming staff who, when COVID shut down our preschools, they repurposed themselves to provide food bags to low-income families that are served through our ECAP preschools. We also have, one of our other divisions is dispute resolution and dispute resolution centers. And as a part of that, we do landlord-tenant disputes. And of course, all of you are aware, I'm sure, of the homelessness issue in Snohomish County and actually throughout Western Washington. For those of you who aren't aware, we Snohomish County had the highest unemployment in the state of Washington at 20% in April of 2020. That has since mitigated a bit, but not completely. You can see that nearly a third of renters didn't make their payments in 1 or more months in the fall of 2020. And there are 2 sides to that issue, by the way. There are landlord concerns and there are renter concerns. But we do know that affordable housing continues to be really hard for families. This last bullet talks about the price of a 2-bedroom apartment in Snohomish County doubling between 2010 and 2019. The last number I saw was $1,900 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in Snohomish County is the average price. I'm sure there are real estate agents on here that could probably dispute that, but that's pretty significant. So one of the things that we have done over the last 8 months or so has been being involved in rental assistance, and in partnership with the state of Washington, with Commerce and CARES dollars, and especially Snohomish County Human Services, we've pushed out $19 million in rental assistance to people who were in positions of arrears. And that was about 6,000 households. I don't know the total number of people, but that's a lot. We also provide emergency shelter for single moms who find themselves in situations where they're homeless. Typically, this is women who are in a situation, domestic violence situation. Sometimes it's addiction, methamphetamine, or heroin. And often they've lost their children and they're trying to reunify. And so we assist them with that. We assist them with gaining job skills or getting connected with the places where they can gain job skills and then try to move them into transitional housing and eventually into stable housing so that they don't need us anymore. Usually we have about 25 people in the shelter that we have up in Marysville, and we're actually looking to expand that. We're working with a real estate agent right now to identify other properties where we can expand that. Here are some pictures from our Mods house. Hopefully nobody identifies where that's at for obvious reasons. We try to keep that location somewhat quiet because of the domestic violence issues. And then we also have behavioral health services, a behavioral health services division. Many of you are probably familiar with the suicide prevention hotline, which is 1-800-273-TALK, T-A-L-K. And for the state of Washington, that is us. In fact, as I can see in my peripheral vision here, we have another building across our parking lot, and our crisis team is working in a call center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week over there, making sure that we take crisis calls from anywhere in the state of Washington, with the exception of King County, by the way. King County does their own thing. They have their own crisis line, but we have the rest of the state. We also do 211, which is the information and referral line. And in fact, I don't remember who it was that was, I think it was Gary, who was looking for a COVID vaccine. And I was thinking, Gary, you might want to try calling 211. I'm guessing that they would know, our staff over there would know where the vaccine sites are and maybe who has vaccines at any given moment. I hope that's true. We also have a chat line, which tends to deal with primarily with acutely suicidal adolescents. Adolescents don't necessarily like talking on the phone, but they are very comfortable with chat. And last I knew, which was probably in October, we had intervened in about 70,000 adolescent lives who were struggling with acutely suicidal ideation. I am a clinician by trade, by the way, but acutely suicidal ideation, and who knows how many of those lives were saved because somebody was on the other end of a computer screen or a keyboard. We also know that due to COVID, that we are, all of us are experiencing stress that we've not experienced before. We know that the suicide rate is increasing. I think we're going to see some, if I remember right, here we go. You can see that from 2019 to 2020, we had a 54% increase in our calls at our care crisis line, our suicide hotline. And we had a 29% increase in chats. So that represents adolescents and adults. And if you look at the bar graph above that, you'll see that that's a lot of folks. 103,000 calls in 2020 to our, that would be our care crisis line. Over here on the statistics around 211, our information and referral line, we had 45,000 calls fielded in the month, I'm sorry, not the month, the year 2020. So that has increased as well. And a lot of those are COVID related, by the way. That 46% increase is almost entirely COVID. To manage that and to make sure that we're providing good customer service and keeping people safe, what I say are critical life-saving services that are provided. We added a team of, we call them CCOCs, COVID Community Outreach Counselors. We have 10 and a supervisor that we added, I think that was in April, something like that. And those 11 folks truly comb Snohomish County. They are at our drive-through food sites. They are at our food banks. They are out in communities, just out in the community, and they're talking to people, and they're doing their best to identify needs and try to provide a little bit of relief, connecting people with resources, getting them food, getting them transportation if they need it, gas cards, diapers, and sometimes baby formula, whatever is needed. And then just a quick stat on suicide, jumping back to that real quick, you can see that we had about 300,000 or a little more hits on our website specific to suicide prevention over the course of the last, over the course of the 12 months in 2020. In our dispute resolution division, this is really about mediation, focusing on disputes related to housing. Usually that's landlord-tenant. Sometimes it's other issues. Last year, we helped about 1,400 families, which is approximately 2,900 people, and kept them from becoming homeless. We have about a 80, I think it's 87, as I recall, maybe it's 88% success rate We would love to have 100%, but and are obviously working on trying to improve that, but 87 or 88% is fantastic. We certainly don't want to see the homelessness problem increase across Snohomish County or Western Washington. By the way, 211 is not just Snohomish County, it's also Skagit County. Dispute resolution, we're in 5 counties: San Juan, Island, Whatcom, Skagit, and Snohomish. Let's see, what is not on here, something that's not on here is juvenile justice. We often provide mediation in juvenile justice cases. As a juvenile comes into the court system, the courts will often refer them to one of our mediators to work with the person that the crime or the organization that the crime was committed against and the juvenile to find a resolution without the juvenile getting deeper in the system. And having served over 2 states over the juvenile justice system, I can tell you that the more juveniles we can keep out of the system, the better off we are, at least the low-level offenders. Our mediators are well-trained. We have a number of attorneys who go through mediation training and then use their mediation skills in their own law practices. Our child and youth division is where our early childhood education assistance programs are at, our preschools for low-income youth. We have 4 of those, as you can see in the slide, that service 120 low-income preschoolers. I mentioned to you that here's a picture of some of them. I don't know about you, it just makes me smile. Every time I get to walk through one of the preschools and the kids are just so excited to see you and smiling and happy and want to chat you up. It's a great day. I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, we service about 120 preschoolers in 4 different sites. We have a full-time and a half-time preschool out at Trailside in South Everett, and then another one out in the Sultan area on our Sultan campus. And we're looking to expand that down into Linwood and get another site or 2 down there within the next year or 2, hopefully. We have a disability services division, which prior to COVID was one of our larger divisions. And we are currently serving about 80 clients in Snohomish, King, and Skagit counties, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Typically, it's in their homes. We also own a few homes. I think we have 5, as I recall, and have some clients in those as well. Meaningful Day is a program that we engage in with our developmental or intellectually disabled clients. And you can see that we provide opportunities for socialization and engagement and various kinds of activities. One of the last activities that we did before COVID was, I think it was 5 of our clients took off with a couple of staff and went down to Disneyland for 3 days and spent 3 days in Disneyland. So here's one of our clients. And here is that Meaningful Day program. I'm trying to see if there's not a picture here of them engaging in some of their music, but they put on a concert, our disabled clients, about twice a year. And my office is upstairs and the Meaningful Day program is downstairs. And it's quite a concert. It was hard to talk on the phone. And they were incredibly talented. So love helping our friends, neighbors, and family with disabilities. And then community resource centers, and this would be one of the things that you would be most interested in probably, because we just opened a community resource center in Lake Stevens on the 18th, which I believe was Monday. I don't have the right month up on my calendar, but I think that was Monday that just passed. And community resource centers do a lot of different things. Here's our Sky Valley Center, which is kind of our flagship resource center. Out there, we have a senior center, which is a drop-in center where a lot of seniors come in for breakfast. They also will stay and engage in various activities and often stay for lunch. We have the SEND program, which forgive me, I can never remember what the E is, but it's seniors something nutritional delivery. And it's for seniors who are homebound, can't get out for whatever reason. Right now, COVID is a big part of that reason. And we take meals out to them from our senior center, and volunteers run that center. I didn't tell you, by the way, and I guess I should have, we have about 450 paid staff, and about 1,600 volunteers, and it takes all 2,000 of those people, I say, to make the magic happen every year. Out in Sky Valley, excuse me, we also have those EGAP preschools that I mentioned. We have a youth coalition for at-risk teens. There is a Boys and Girls Club, which is on campus and run by the Boys and Girls Club of Snohomish County. And then we also have a teen drop-in center out there. And here's a few pictures of the Sky Valley Center. This is our new site director for Lake Stevens. This is Tina Mandela. She's incredible. We've had her as part of our team for quite a while, and she's been a resource center advocate and specialist for a number of years. She's very excited to be back in Lake Stevens, and you can see just a few of the offerings over here in the bullet list to what's offered. And then coming soon, we have, we're developing a center out in Linwood, 37,000 square feet. We were actually meeting about this yesterday with our board. And it's going to be basically bringing nonprofit organizations together into one place to serve families who are in need, low-income families, or just families who are in need, period. You can see there that it's located on the corners of 196th and 99. And north of that is a low-income area, and south of that is a low-income area. So we think it's poised to be very helpful for that area, as do the officials in Linwood. Here are a few of the nonprofits that will be in that center as of right now. There will be additional ones as well, but I failed to mention, by the way, that center will have a large gymnasium on one end. In fact, let me shift you to here's a diagram of that. A gymnasium on, I believe it's the right end down there, and then a meeting space, large meeting spaces on the left. And then that center portion of the building will be offices, various offices and service delivery spaces with a piazza in the middle. Rick Steves is a big supporter of this. In fact, I think if it wasn't for Rick, we wouldn't be able to do this. He's just been a tremendous contributor and advocate for this. And in European fashion, Rick wanted to make sure that the community that would use this had a nice piazza in the center. And so it does, and it'll be 2-story in the center part and then 1-story in the gymnasium and community rooms. I'm sure I am missing a whole bunch, but I have 8:26, Ken, and I would love to take a couple of questions or as many as anybody would like. By the way, I've listed my cell phone number for you right there. I am often in the office. I'm in the office right now. I'm often in the office, but at times when I'm not, my office number is forwarded to my cell phone. And as I mentioned, I'm a psychologist by trade. Been a clinician since 1991 and been on call since then. So there's no need to change now. If you're welcome to call me on my cell phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I do ask people or tell people, if you call me at 3 in the morning, just give me a couple minutes to remember my name. So but you're always welcome to call. We are here to serve, and just tickled to be in Western Washington. Ken, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Are there any questions that anybody has of Steve about his presentation? Go ahead.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for your presentation this morning. The Linwood Center piques my interest. Is the Boys and Girls Club moving from their Alderwood Manor location over to this new facility?
Is it James? Is it James or Jim?
Yes, James.
James, I don't know the answer to that. I should have asked. I just talked to Bill Sikalis just a few days ago, their CEO, and I didn't ask him that. I don't know the answer to that. But
Okay, and where at that intersection is it actually being located, the community center?
do you know where Trinity Lutheran Church is?
Yes, I do.
So they actually donated the space, so we have a 50-year lease, and the groundwork is all done. So if you noticed construction as you passed through their construction prior to, I think, May, I think we wrapped up the phase 1 groundwork and the rain vaults, underground rain vaults and all of that in May. So before that, there was a fence around it and there was a lot of equipment in there. That was our site. Now I think it's just grass. I think we have grass over the top while we're waiting to go vertical.
Excellent. Great location.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited. By the way, South County has just a very big deficiency of human services. So there's huge need out there, and we're just excited to be out there. In fact, our name Volunteers goes back to 1896. Our founders, Maud and Ballington Booth, said we will voluntarily go wherever we are needed and voluntarily do whatever is needed to help people who are most in need. So a lot of people think volunteers is about the volunteers that help us, but it's really about voluntarily going where needed and doing what's needed to help folks. So, any other questions?
Yeah, Steve, this is John Spencer.
Yes, sir.
Did you say where the Community Resource Center for Lake Stevens is located?
John, thanks for asking. By the way, I want to thank, I didn't see him on here, but I want to thank Mayor Gailey for connecting us with Don Iverson and making this possibility this morning. And I say that, John, because Mayor Gailey and I have had a number of conversations about a community resource center, and he's the one that said, hey, Steve, we used to have one and we really need one. Got us thinking about it, and we started kind of poking around. And right now, John, we are in the Lake Church, and we're in there. I'm not sure. I don't think we're in there every day. I think it's 3 days a week right now. And then we're also looking at potentially being in the new food bank that's going to be built, about having some dedicated space. I think they said upstairs. So, but that's in its very early infancy conversations. Yes, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Any other questions? No. Fantastic. But truly, folks, you're welcome to call me anytime if you have any questions, or we can help anybody, any one of you or your families, your friends, your neighbors, coworkers. We are here to serve. That's what we do. That's how we find purpose. So thanks for having me.
Thank you, Steve, for being here. That great presentation. It's great to hear about all the services that the Volunteers of America provides. And we'll be making a $25 donation in your name to the Dolly Parton Imagination Library for your participation today in our meeting. So thank you so much.
Ken, thank you so much. I am a big fan of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. We in Wyoming, we worked with her organization to help low-income kids learn to read. So thanks for doing that.
And thanks again, Steve. So that concludes our meeting. I'm ringing us out. Thanks for everybody for being here. We had a great turnout today. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a super week next week. I'll see you next Friday. Bye, everyone.
See you later.
See you later. James, give me 5 minutes, and then I'll call you.
Okay.